we're back. Thank you very much for waiting patiently over the summer while Woody gave us a bit of a boxing break. This is Bell to Bell, VIP Boxing's very own podcast. We're on episode 125, and you've got us back until about the day after the Jolly Boys in December. I think that's about 18th, 19th, something like that. We'll be signing off. If you would leave us a review on YouTube, that would be fantastic. And if you're listening on Spotify, thank you. And if you're listening on iTunes, where we do particularly well, thank you very much. You know me, Steve Lillis, and you know my co-host in the top corner there, John Evans. And always after we've had a bit of a break, we bring back VIP Boxing's head honcho to give us the lowdown. We're going to talk about VIP Boxing later on, but it's Steve Wood. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm okay, fella. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How did you get on during the summer, Steve? I know you only had a week away, I believe. I think you was engineering, and I think you've been back working boxing all day today. You've been ringing me up, telling me to get you an opponent for this and that. And if I don't have one for Corey O'Regan in a week, I think I'm sacked.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's no rest in this boxing, is it? I just wish it was like John now with a few million in the bank and retired.
Retired. He's just. I'm not going to say what. He's just taken on another boxing job. I put his way today. I don't think he's got millions in the bank.
Oh, dear me.
He's just taken another. I called John Evans a lot of things, but millions in the bank, I'm not having.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'll still be in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, Steve. Anyway, so.
Anyway. Well, do you want to ask Steve anything before we crack on, John, or do you want to wait till we have the VIP?
Yeah, well, we're getting to the end, aren't we? I know we've got a cracking show coming up at one of the best venues, opening the season up. So, but yeah, we'll get on to all the VIP stuff later, and we're going to talk about a big fight this week as well, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We are indeed. One that Steve's heavily involved in. But more of that in, I think that's about round 4 or 5. But John, you got your clock and all that ready now?
Yeah, all ready to go.
We're going to start with you, John. And what next for Dubois?
Yeah, Daniel Dubois and Usyk. Firstly, forget all the stuff about the low blow. You can't change the result, and I think it was borderline to low, and I don't think someone should win a heavyweight title on a shot like that anyway. But that's by the by. It's what next for Dubois. I enjoyed that fight. I thought it was exciting, entertaining, but it was one-sided. Usyk won every round. Dubois gave him plenty to think about, but Usyk was dominant. But I was quite impressed with Daniel. You know, I thought he held himself together well. He fought at a good pace. He didn't tire too much. The problem comes with how he dealt with the end of a fight. When he got tired, it was like he didn't want to know anymore. It's happened twice now in the late rounds of title fights, and it's where they go with him now. I think it might be a blessing in disguise if this appeal the lodging gets nowhere, and it just gives Daniel a bit of time to build himself up, build on what he achieved on Saturday, because he did better than most people thought, and get himself in position to fight this next wave of heavyweights like Hrgovic and Jared Anderson, because he's got a shot of beating those guys. He's not going to beat Wilder, Usyk or Joshua. He's not going to beat Joyce. So I think the aim now should be getting Daniel into position for another assault on the titles when these big names have gone.
Yeah, nothing.
Sorry, Steve. Yeah, so you go, Steve.
Yeah, nothing surprises me in boxing. But I can't see the appeal getting anywhere. My worry with Daniel is when he gets tired, he doesn't know what to do. And I think he was tired the other night as much as anything. It's like when you have a long day, you're tired and you don't know what to do, except when he got tired and didn't know what to do. Millions were watching and calling him a quitter, unfortunately. I don't think it's back to the drawing board, but then I'll just go a couple of wins and then a semi-significant fight. Perhaps even Joe Joyce again. Steve?
Yeah, well, I made the comments on my little notes down here, what you two guys are basically saying. You know, I think for the 25-year-old, he's certainly physically mature, but he's not mentally mature. And, you know, the way he kind of caved in, and he wasn't a great jab that finished with him, kind of highlighted that as well. And I think, you know, looking at his record, he's had 19 fights, 18 KOs. His 2 fights he's lost have both come with KOs. I think looking at his record, he went the distance with Kevin Johnson. And I think someone like Kevin Johnson, and then maybe another one similar, while Usyk and Fury move on, will be the simple thing to do. But I'd work on him mentally more than anything else, really. And I think in the long term we could have a world champion with him, but mentally he's got to get right more than anything.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he'll regret them 2 minutes in that 5th round where he didn't just go hell for leather and go for broke for the rest of his life, won't he?
Yeah, I was talking this with someone who coaches amateurs. I went to football at Ashton today, and he was saying a similar thing, John, to you.
Yeah. Fine.
Round 2. In the aftermath of that fight, there's been a call for boxing VAR. I don't want to sound like I'm sitting on the fence, but I'm not sure whether I'm for it or what. It sounds great, for how cuts were caused and low blows, but VAR in boxing is time essential. It's not like a football match where they can take 2-3 minutes. It's going to have to be like cricket where they get it right in 30, 40 seconds. There's not going to be that time. And I'm not so sure about it myself because of that. Because sometimes you do have to look at things from different angles. It's like the other night with the low blow, which I thought was low, not deliberate, but it was low. I believe it was low. There were so many angles of that, depending on what angle you took it for.
Yeah, well, my opinion is I wouldn't like to see it coming, and apart from the time delays which we'd have to get, I just think if you look at football, they're still getting it wrong. And if obviously we're talking about VAR because of last night, I've listened and watched loads of comments and videos of it. I'm in boxing and I'm a big boxing fan. I couldn't really say if it is right or wrong. Obviously, Frank Warren's going to back his fighter and say it was definitely a legal blow. The other people on us side are going to say no, it was a low blow. But it's like what is the rules? I've seen people putting up little clips of referees like saying anything on the band will let through. That's a good punch, and then you see referees saying right, anything that goes on the band is too low, and you'll be punished for the low shot. So I don't think the rules are that clear for us to have got any different. If we did have VAR, I mean, what would it have done last night? Would it have said it was a low blow? Would it have said it wasn't a low blow? And if whichever side it went, no one would have, or the other half wouldn't agree with it.
Yeah, I think you could only use it for fight-ending incidents. If Usyk had been rolling around and the referee had counted, then maybe you could have a replay to see if it should stand as a TKO or be made a no contest. Or if it's a head clash and the fight's over because of a cut, you can look if it's deliberate or accidental. But you can't be stopping a fight for a minute to look at a replay, because the guy, just say a guy gets knocked down and they're trying to work out if it was a legal shot, he gets a minute recovery.
I was going to say that.
It's got to be a fight ending only thing.
And you're going to get people who would milk it as well to get a minute's respite. 10th round in or something, and they're winning it but feeling a bit, when he's hit me low, I'll get away with that.
Yeah.
I think the WBC tried something, didn't they? And I don't think it
did
worked.
They? Yeah.
I'm not sure when Charlie Edwards got put down that they went back to it and did something.
Yeah, I didn't know. All right, then. Well, that's VAR. Steve, we're over to you now. And you want to talk about you're wondering whether we're going to see more 50-50 fights.
Well, I'm hoping we are. And I'm going to say the reason why I think we are, and we're going to talk about the Middle East later on, because there's that much money in the Middle East now, and they're paying for mega fights, which are 50-50. And everyone chases the money. It doesn't matter what way of life you're in or what sport you're in, and I think to get in these 50-50 fights, you're going to have to win some 50-50 fights on the TV slots to get you into the position where they want you in these actual mega fights over in the Middle East. And then when I start looking at the lads that I've got who want to get onto TV and get onto the chance to get these 50-50s, they're going to have to win 50-50s on our small halls to get onto the TV. So I just think now, and we've been talking it for a while to try and make 50-50 fights, I think now's the time, and I think we're going to start seeing them. And obviously the next fight we're going to talk about on Saturday nights for 50-50. And I've got someone fighting for the British title on Friday night in a 50-50 Mason Cartwright with Samuel Antwi. And, you know, that's what we all want to see, don't we? We know where you go to a show and you don't know who's going to win, because you just have to look back at all the results on the box rec and home, and we're not getting them. And on my shows, because of the amount of money that people are paid, you feel fair enough. They should have like 60-40s, but if you want to start getting onto TV and you want to start getting into the mega fights, I think you have to take 50-50s, and it's got to be the way for it. Otherwise, UFC is just going to take over.
Yeah, I don't think there should be any one-sided learning fights on TV anymore. It's getting bad, isn't it? Some of the shows we watch on Saturday nights, it can be like 6 home fighter versus journeyman, and then a 70-30, and then a 60-40 match for card you get. I think TV shows now should be 60-40 minimum, you know. But sport needs to attract people, doesn't it? It keeps needing, so viewing numbers don't drop. And the only way that you do that is by putting a better product on. But
that's as much down to the TV companies, Steve. I mean, all you have to do most TV shows now is look at the odds on Sky Bet or wherever you put your Bet365, and just see on a Saturday morning. You know, it'll be 6 fights on. You can put a tenner on. You don't win 11. You win 11. You win £1. You get 11 quid back. So
Yeah,
a lot of that's down to the TV companies. But do these TV companies? Maybe this is for another time. Do these TV companies? They don't have boxing experts employed by the TV network anymore? It's like when, you know, HBO were going. Lou DiBella was there in executive position. Who knows? Who was a boxing man.
Yeah, there's no quality controllers. They're just letting the promoters get away with dire fights, and hopefully they'll learn from it, because the only thing it's going to affect is their viewing numbers, which will be the advertising revenue, and this big money now which is coming into boxing won't last long if they don't deliver.
And it wouldn't cost the TV company a fortune to employ a consultant, a boxing consultant, who goes in 1 day a week and says what's right and what's wrong with each fight that's been proposed to them. It's not even a full-time job. You've got no input happens at the TV channel. You're just directing them on what's shit and what's not. It wouldn't even cost them a fortune. Give someone 500 quid a day. They'll be, over a year. That's nothing.
Well, it'd make money in the long run, because the shows would get more viewers and the advertisers pay more.
Yeah, just a boxing consultant, a journalist, or a former manager, a former promoter.
Sky used to have one. I forget what his name was called, but he was really, really good.
Was that Bob Mee, who used to be in at Sky?
Bob Mee, yeah.
Great man.
Yeah.
Forgotten more about boxing than most people. Up there with Buncey and Dean Powell as the most knowledgeable boxing person I've ever met.
Yeah.
Harry Mullen.
And fair as well.
Yeah. Right, round, we put that right. We had a bit of a say there, didn't we? Put the world to right there. Round 4, John's going to lead us in on it, and then Steve, I think you'll be taking over. Efren against Cullen. What a fight.
Yeah, what a fight. What a fight. It's one people have spoke about for years, isn't it? It was always destined to happen. I think it was rumoured to almost happen last year. It didn't come off for some reason. But it's so simple to see what's going to happen, I think. It's so easy to see what both fighters have got to do. It's so easy to see what will happen if one does it and the other one doesn't. I can't wait for it. It's guaranteed to be thrilling. Cullen's got to get through 4 rounds without taking a load of damage. Efren's got to get through 4 rounds without being discouraged. Anything could happen. I can't wait.
You know what?
No.
I'll just have a quick say on this before Steve takes over. Spoke to Steve last week. I said, is Cullen right? He said, he's been in the office. He's absolutely best. I've been around him. I'm excited. Saturday morning, I'm walking through Ashton. I see Billy Dinez, the boxer, who's been sparring with Efron. He said, how's Mark? He said, he's bang on. It's going to be fantastic. You know, everyone, there's no excuses. It's brilliant. Go on, Steve. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, I said, it is. And going back to the 50-50s, these are the sort of fights that, we want to watch. And like John was saying, it can go either way. One thing I say is, I can't see it going the distance. If you look at Mark's record, he's had 2 losses, both stoppages. Jack's had 4 losses, all stoppages. So he won't go the distance. But who's going to win? I mean, that's the big one, and that's why people have wanted to see it, because you've got like Mark fans who, he's going to knock him out, and then you've got Jack fans who went, they'll break him down and stop him or use his jab, and obviously that's what he's gone. But he's got a local interest, and I've just been looking at the card. It's the only local interested fight there. There's not one other person from Manchester on that card, and I think I hope they don't get it wrong and put it on too early, because they've got the names that they want for Sky, because a lot of people will be going for this. I know Jack Person sold £50,000, well, over £50,000 of the tickets, and I dare say Efren has probably done more. So it's going to be a great fight. I'd go 100% with Cullen if it wasn't for the fact that since the Liam Williams fight, Efren's had a few good fights. He spent too long beating Noddies up, didn't he? And that was shown when he stepped up and fought Liam Williams and absolutely fell apart. I think since then he's had a couple of more harder fights, and he'll be better prepared for it. But I know Cullen's super confident, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping he'll be like the second British champion for VIP in 2 nights on Saturday.
Brian?
Right, Steve, it's back to you. Middle East boxing, Steve.
Yeah, Middle East boxing again. We touched on it before, but I've just been looking in the last couple of days, and I don't think there's ever been a fight like Saturday night where it was like Skills Challenge who promoted it. So it was a Middle East. It was a Middle East boxing company doing a big event outside of the Middle East. So, you see massive events in Saudi and Abu Dhabi and regular events in Dubai. But two things. One, to have a massive show and have it outside of the Middle East. Obviously, it was in Poland for us. But Skills Challenge actually promote us. And the way I'm looking at it now is that it makes sense, doesn't it? They've been doing these massive events, putting loads and loads of money and millions of pounds, and getting nothing out of it except for one night viewing figures of people coming seeing Saudi. And it doesn't make sense to keep throwing that money away, even though they've got plenty of it. It's good now that they're going to invest in boxers and build them up themselves. So not build them up because he's already there, but they're going to take other fighters on, and they're going to invest in boxing and put some of the money into the boxing. I think you'll see this happening more now, and it could only be good for boxing that they actually putting money in, but taking it away just from the Middle East, and then probably build their own kids up so they can be superstars on the big events in the Middle East.
I think a lot of their throwing money is what the people in the Arab world crave is respect from outside. And I won't be surprised if in 2-3 years they're not getting the respect from people outside. I won't be surprised they just thought, damn it, and pull the rug under everything if they don't get the respect. There is that in them. They're alluring to themselves in the sense, if they don't want to do something, if they suddenly got bored of the football overnight, they would just cancel every club and everyone would be sacked. You wouldn't be seeing a penny. And I think a lot of it is trying to earn respect from the world over this.
Oh, do you think, Steve? Do you think it'd be a good idea if they started trying to put on smaller shows, or would you prefer them to just use all these assets and resources they've got to put on massive events that draw eyes to boxing? Or if they started saying, "Oh, well, we're going to build like not a talent agency," I don't think that's the right word, but if they started saying we're going to start promoting smaller shows, do you think that'd be a good? I'm not talking obviously 4 and 6 rounders at Wigan Leisure Centre. I'm talking like British title level fights. Do you think that'd be good for the sport, or do you think that'd be bad? Would you prefer to see?
No, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good, and I think you'll see him doing that. And like you say, they'll get a pool of talent that they want to invest the money in with, including top amateurs who are turning over. Help build them up to the fact that when they come over to the mega events in there, they've had some sort of return on it rather than just paying stupid money for big events. And I know they've got shitload of money, but it doesn't make sense when you think they might invest 100 million on one event, probably more when they're building stadiums. They might be investing 200 million on just one event. you wouldn't be far off owning boxing, would you? You put 200 million into the fighters and forgot about maybe 4 or 5 of them. You'd be able to run boxing, and I'm sure there's people over there in the Middle East looking at it now and thinking to ourselves, let's use some of our money wisely instead of being big time Charlie potatoes.
Where do you think it will go? I mean, I might have overrun on this, but it's a good topic. Where do you think where they're going to get their own stars from, though? Because we're talking countries like, Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Bahrain. Everyone there, most people in those countries, shit $50 bills. So where are you going to get the boxers from when the wealth's already in the country?
They're going to find scouts, aren't they, to go around the world and find them, and
Is that what they're going to do, and give them passports?
Pakistan, America, England, I'm sure that's what they'll do. I'm sure what they'll do, and you can't compete with them even with your TV money.
Yeah, fascinating. Right, round 6, VIP boxing Mayhem, and I say Mayhem, Steve, because back in March you did 3 shows in 3 weeks. I was matching them for you, and you said never doing that again. 3 in 3 weeks, nearly killed everybody. You're doing 5 in 5 weeks. Tell us about VIP boxing Mayhem between now and the rest of the year, and your hopes.
Yeah. I said I'll do one every 2 weeks, didn't I, really, just to keep on going. So we've not done one for 5 weeks, so it's 5 in 10 weeks if you look at it. I mean,
yeah, but back to back.
Yeah, the problem is I've got too many fighters, haven't I? And I've got to keep them busy because that's what I promised them when I took them on. So I'm not really looking forward to it. I mean, as you know, I went away for a week, and that Blackpool show, the first one, was absolutely barnstorm. I wasn't really like 9 fights all matched up and really, really good. We've come back and we've got 2 already out with injuries. We've got a couple with scanned queries. We've got 1 with a medical query. We've had 3 pull out on the other side, and it's wow. You soon forget how bad it is, don't you? Yeah,
but on the other side, yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's like anything else. We always pull it out. Some of the shows aren't as good as you'd like to be, but we pull it out and we keep the fighters busy. And as you can see in September, I've got about 8 kids fighting for titles on all 4 TV platforms, and that's where we've got to get these lads to. And the sooner we get the talent onto TV, the less shows we've got to do, and that's got to be the aim for me over the next 12 months.
Yeah, is just someone I mentioned at the top of the show there, Steve, Corey O'Regan. Is he your next one to push for TV? Because you rang up the other day saying it's time, and said to me it's time for him to go now. And I know you tried to make a really good fight. You made a very fair offer for a champion. I'm not, that meant for us to say who. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to say who. Turned it down. And today you said to me, is there anyone for him? Is he the next one you're looking to push to TV by winning a good fight on one of your cards?
Well, he's one of them. I wouldn't say he's the next one because we've got a lot of kids who are capable of going on there. But I mean, I was hoping he was going to be on Josh's undercard fighting for the English title, but the English champion decided that he'd rather fight someone a bit easier on Steffi's show than earn a bit more money and take Cody on a TV show. So I was a bit disappointed and that didn't happen. But that's the level that Cody needs to go on and be tested at, the English level, and hopefully on the Wakefield show we'll get him eliminated for the English and push him into that position. But no, I've probably got 10 or 12 fighters like Cody who needs an opportunity now to make or break, because he's one of many full-time pros I've got, and you can only have so many learning fights before you've got to go in one. And like I was saying at the start, now we've got to start finding out if these kids can do it, and if they can't and they fail at a level, as long as they put some sort of competitive fight up, we'll get another opportunity, won't they?
You're finding, Steve, that some of your better kids are coming through quicker now. Like Abrol's going to move quick, isn't he? Corey's moved pretty quick. They're not having 16, 17 fights now, have they? They're getting there earlier.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I've always said that 10's enough to find out about your kids, and some of them might need a couple more, but at 10, they should be ready to go into title fights. And like Jay Cabral's only young, isn't he? I mean, he's had 8. He was going to do an 8-rounder this weekend, or not this weekend, next weekend, but he's not been well. He's had tonsillitis, so he's out. But yeah, you know, he'd get a couple of 8-rounders, then he'd be in 10-round title fights. You know, probably go Central area and then English, and then he'd be pushing for British after 15 or 16. But you know, he's been a talented youngster. That needed a bit of time. The same as Ben Marksby, who's fighting on Saturday night. He's a very, very talented kid, but he only fought as a junior, he never fought as a senior. So, you know, probably needs a little bit more than like Corey Reagan, who was like, I think he was number 2 in the country, wasn't he, Corey? And, you know, was full-time pro and had 4 or 5 years now as a pro. So, you know, he's ready to go a bit quicker than Ben was.
It's interesting. You got Ben Marksby against Gravin Mendoza at the end of the month, who's a good yardstick for everybody. I think Jay Cabral was the only man who's seen him off comfortably.
Right. I didn't even know he'd matched him with him, Steve. So
I thought I told you last week. I know. I give the names, and the trainer was happy with him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, Ben's a talent, isn't he? And you know, he's fighting on Channel 5 on Friday night, and he's going to box on our own show. And maybe that'll be the last time we'll see him on one of the VIP shows, because he's now got a contract with Channel 5 and Boston. Yeah, and hopefully they're going to help us make him into a champion. Yeah.
I didn't know he was. So he's gone with Sauerlands, has he, Steve?
He has, yeah.
So how comes they're letting you have him on this show at the end of the month? Because just to help your first show in the Northeast.
You know what? I always try and put it in my contracts with the TV promoters that subjected to suiting both promoters, that the lads can fight on VIP shows. And the main reason is that, you know, to try and build the support of them locally, because it's important. So it'll be a benefit, not just for us on our own show, but long term with Wasserman. You know, if they're not coming back to Newcastle for a while, that, you know, Ben's been seen up there and getting support from his local people who hopefully follow him, because he could be showcased around the country, couldn't he, depending on where the Channel 5 shows are going. But no, if it suits both parties, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. John, anything you want to add for Steve's giving us the lowdown there?
We've pretty much gone through a lot there, haven't we, tonight?
Yeah, that's it. That was quick, very quick half hour. Steve, thanks very much for coming on. I know you've been working today and you're up early in the morning. John Evans, thanks as always, mate. Lovely to see your little face again, my pal John. Sorry about your football team, Oldham.
Yeah, Woody, what do you think of Lillis' tan?
I just thought it was cheap lighting in the house, to be honest with you. I didn't know ginger's tanned.
I'm not ginger. There isn't much there. That is not ginger, though, Woodster. I'm not having that. I'm not having a ginger, mate. Yeah. I'm not being called that.
You know, he's not another strawberry blonde I've got.
That's a strawberry blonde, that is, mate. That's a strawberry blonde. Anyway, I'm getting out of here for tonight before you upset me or anyone else, Steve. Fellas, pleasure talking to you both, and see you both. Oh, Steve, I'm on a call you early in the morning. John, I'll speak to you in the week.
Cheers, then. Thanks a lot,
fellas.
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.